almost 5.5 million ounces of silver coming off the Shanghai gold market. So I look at that more than anything as the Chinese public pulling metal off the exchange. Certainly they're being inundated by what's happening with Evergrande and their housing developers, but the Chinese are it's in their blood. I also take a look at what's happening on COMEX, and I think it's very bullish. In fact, as bullish as anything we've seen in a very long time. Commercial banks reduced their net short position in gold by 12,500 contracts to about 225,000 contracts, which is the lowest and most bullish position that we've seen in months. And at the same time, they're doing the exact same thing in silver, reducing their short positions considerably, making it a very, very intriguing backdrop to what could potentially be a nice rise in the price of gold and silver, just simply based upon the positionings of the 8 large traders on COMEX who have pared down both their gold and silver short positions to the lowest level that we've had in months. So that, I think when we take a look at trying to gauge where this market is going, the truth of it is that, and the unfortunate truth is that it's really being set by 8 banks, really 8 large traders on the COMEX market are dictating where the price of gold and silver are going. It's interesting to note that Bank of America has a massive short position, like 850 million ounces short, and debatable why they have it, who they got it from, why they're doing this when they really don't have a history or a track record of shorting the metals market. They have a very, very large derivatives position, which dwarfs the derivative position of their gold and silver position, like dwarfs it. But by the same token, it's very big in relation to the overall COMEX picture. When I look at my own portfolio, it's almost, I don't know the exact percentage. For the last 2 years, maybe 3, most of everything I have bought has been silver. Platinum and palladium are glaringly lacking from my portfolio. I have a very small position in platinum and an even smaller position in palladium. To me, those two are tertiary investments at best. The argument for buying platinum right now is as valid as it is for buying silver in many respects. But when the world looks to preservation, especially as currencies come under fire, and I think that will happen much more so with realizing the Fed is really stuck between a rock and a hard place where, they may be talking about getting tough on inflation, but when the markets start to crumble, will they follow through with it, or will they reverse course and double down on tapering and stimulus and letting inflation run? Because let's just be honest, in order to really do something about inflation, they're going to have to raise the federal funds rate almost 700 basis points or 7% just to get above the CPI. And that's not going to happen. That's what Paul Volcker did. He raised the rates to 20% above the level of inflation. But that's what would have to be done in order to really get tough on inflation. And if that happens, the markets blow up, which we can't really imagine. So what we're looking at is a further, I think, denigration of the value of the dollar. And as the dollar slides, I think, and all currencies slide, I think the place to be is in gold and silver. I think silver is the value proposition of a generation. When I look back, done again over the years, at all of the trades that have made us successful, they've centered around anomalies in price. And when you realize that the 150-year average between gold and silver is roughly 42 to 1, and it's trading at almost double that, at 80 to 1, or very close to that, that's rarefied air. In fact, if you were to pull up a chart of the gold to silver ratio over the last 100 years and put a piece of paper right at 40 and look below and look above, you'll see that 10% of that 100-year chart is above, maybe even 5% is above 40, and almost all of the action is below 42 to 1. In other words, what you're seeing is an opportunity in silver in its relationship to gold that it is massively undervalued. And again, this has a lot to do with the COMEX positioning of the big 8 commercial banks. But with that being said, it's a value proposition of a generation. Now, you can make the same or similar argument with platinum. The difference really is in the duality of demand that silver offers. Most commodities offer one demand source. Silver offers two. And in a green and digital world, the need for silver industrially and the expansive need for silver industrially is incredible. And as we've documented well over the last 2 years, the monetary renaissance in silver is also extraordinary. So you have duality in demand.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race. You're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.